Don't even try to come here and say that Dying Light isn't the peak video game for parkouring and crushing zombie skulls. It's no surprise, this is a fantastic game and I've been playing it for years. When you make a sequel to a game that only attracts the flies of the gaming industry, you know you have trash. That's how you get Dead Island 2. Oddly enough, nothing beats the first entry to the series we know now as Dying Light, at least not in my opinion. Dying Light has been one of my most played games since its release. While the storyline definitely suffers in a few aspects and the gameplay can be super confusing, it's still one of the most groundbreaking games to hit the market. Combining the awesome badass energy of Mirror's Edge with the creepy infected world of Dead Island, it's no surprise that people enjoy this game heavily. Oh shit. I was gonna say.
I forgot Dead Island 2 even existed, honestly.
Wow, okay. Well, that's totally fine because I did too. A lot of people like to cope and say that Dead Island 2 is great. Like, I've seen so many people on Facebook talk about how great Dead Island 2 is, but I swear to God, it's cope. There's no way. Someone even said, oh, it's better than Dying Light. It's better than both of those games. Well, then you've never played them. Oh man, you just can't beat this. You can't beat this game, so why even try, man? Don't try. What if can you imagine if there was another pop-up that said, your friend is a much higher level than you. Are you sure you want to play with them? Like, dude, if you ask me one more fucking question, I'm uninstalling the game. What?
Legend levels unlocked. Congratulations, you have maxed out your skill trees. From now on, points from this category. What's up with these okays, dude? Leave me alone. Stop with these pop-ups, bro.
I don't know why I got the pop-up. I've played this before. My legend level is 93. It's like they're like, oh yeah, have you ever played the legend levels yet? Yeah. It's not safe. We have to clear the area. Brian, behind you! Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm covering us, don't worry.
I know.
Oh my god, oh my god, all these fucking hints as if we've never played the game before.
I mean, we need answers. I know.
Hey, Jade.
Lying for Rise? You can't be serious.
For God's sakes, I'll go. I'm not scared.
Absolutely not. We've discussed that already.
Yeah, Jade would be the absolute worst option to send.
Find out what this will cost us and come back in one piece.
No promises.
If Crane was just like, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's fucking dead.
He's not sleeping. His eyes are wide open. He's not blinking. He's literally just laying there with his hand on his forehead. What are you depressed about, man? Come on, talk to me.
We are very good listeners, surprisingly. We're pretty good. I think I have a burglar in my apartment.
You don't see me.
Can you imagine, like, waking up at, like, 4 a.m., coming out? Oh, man, I gotta take a piss. Go in the bathroom, you peek around the door. Oh, you don't see me, I'm not here. I myself couldn't stop playing it, and even started a new game on the hardest difficulty with Brian. The two of us were all too familiar with the game's pros and cons, so despite what you may hear in the gameplay footage, Dying Light remains our top game for zombie carnage and parkour aesthetics. Each of the enemies within the universe are unique and will put you to the ultimate test each time you dive into it. Don't get me wrong, I've already talked about Dying Light 2, but I didn't exactly give it a proper, in-depth review. That'll come in the not-too-distant future. I couldn't help but replay the Dying Light campaign on my own time, and with Brian, jumping across rooftops, drop-kicking zombies, fighting volatiles. It's a one-of-a-kind experience, truly. I don't think I'm gonna hear much argument from anyone when I say it's the peak video game for someone like us. Kyle Crane was an iconic main character, and I'd even consider him a legend amongst other great characters like Frank West, Chuck Green, Isaac Clarke, Gordon Freeman. Although the story is flawed in many annoying aspects, I'm here to talk about why Dying Light is the superior survival game for me. One thing I'm a major fan of is how often you can explore the world around you and find loot. Granted, you're not gonna find a pickaxe or a sword in a trash can, but utilizing every searchable container will give you enough resources to build your armory with amazing melee weapons. Using blueprints, you can craft a compendium of lethal scientific gadgets that either deliver a deadly electric shock or a flaming toxic blow. Many blueprints are scattered throughout the world, giving into more exploration opportunities. Every single zombie you kill can be looted as well. adding more and more reasons to further upgrade your character, especially when you cross over into the Old Town segment of the game, as the difficulty spikes immensely at that point. There's technically no invisible walls in Dying Light unless you're deliberately looking for them. At the edges of the world, there really isn't much to explore or discover, so often the player is encouraged to stay on the right path and focus on their agility, strength, and combat. There are tons of interesting side quests, along with many uninteresting ones, but it's the fact that they've put this much effort into making the game feel so much more alive and open. Say what you will about the storyline, I'll probably cover that a little later down the line, but all in all, this was a fantastic gem in my library, and to this day, I find myself getting lost in the world. The graphics, while not essential to a game's fun factor, are beautiful. Whenever I launch this game, I tend to stare off in the distance a couple of times just to soak in the atmosphere. The sounds in the distance of ancient music, singing, and the ambiance of the zombies gathering below waiting for their next meal. It's all really well done. You want to talk about scary? Well, look no further than the nighttime gameplay. When dusk arrives, the player gets a warning that it'll soon be time to get somewhere safe, as when the sun sets, a whole new evil emerges from the shadows. Volatiles are frustratingly scary, often demolishing you any chance they get. Surround yourself with more than just one of them and you can consider yourself dead fucking meat. Of course, since I've played this game so much in my life, I have no trouble taking out a volatile one-on-one, but they're still pretty difficult whenever approached. The story incorporates these volatile creatures very often, which helps sell the idea that this infection is terrifying. First, you turn into a viral, a crazed infected person who, under the effect of the virus, will sporadically swing at you, chasing you until either they're dead or you are. Then they turn into the slow-moving zombies we know and love to kill. Then finally, they become these fucking monstrosities. I don't truly know how the virus works, to be honest, as there are multiple special infected you'll encounter in your adventures, like the bombers, which piss me off more than an invalid parking ticket, or those frog fuckers who spew chunks of acid at you, disorienting your vision for a brief moment, dealing damage, and alerting a group of virals to your position. You also have these big hammer guys who remind me of thugs from Dead Island. They're annoying to fight only because they have one strategy: swing at them, dodge backwards, swing again, rinse and repeat. It's tedious, but usually worth it if they're guarding a locked chest or crate. Luckily, you don't always have to kill the biggest guy to get precious loot. Using a plethora of upgrades like camouflage, Crane can blend in with the zombies and even attack them without raising alarm. It's not infinite, of course, but it's a very useful tool, and you'll use it often on Nightmare mode, trust me. What continues to amaze me about Dying Light's gameplay is how brutal it is. The gore still holds up today, and slicing a zombie's head clean off never sounded so satisfying before. Did I forget to mention the greatest ability in the game, the drop kick? Better late than never. I can remember unlocking the dropkick bomb move and using it on almost every single enemy. It's hilarious to send someone flying across the fucking universe over and over again. It doesn't work all the time, but when it does, it's totally worth it. The gunplay isn't as good as fighting enemies with melee weapons. In my opinion, the enemies will either one-tap you before you can blink, or they shoot all around you and miss like a fucking stormtrooper. You have to be fast and precise when shooting your enemies, but for some reason on Nightmare, headshots aren't nearly as effective. Once you unlock the grappling hook, exploration opens up in an infinite amount of ways. You can swing to almost any surface that's within your reach. I often use it to bypass annoying climbing segments that I don't feel like repeating. You can damage enemies with it too. It proves useful if a viral is sprinting towards you. Just launch a fucking hook into its belly, then run up to it and murder it. Simple. Kyle is equipped with a superpower known as Survivor Sense, which allows you to scan the environment around you for very useful loot and containers. Personally, I find it hard not to use this ability, as there are tons of different boxes, shelves, cabinets, and cupboards to look through. You'll be hitting the X button a lot in this game. And since I've waited this long to mention it, how about Kyle Crane's voice actor? It's none other than Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil 5 and 6. I personally prefer his performance in this game due to a variety of factors. Though Kyle works for the GRE, it doesn't take him long to realize that his client may be after something far from a cure. In these epic storyline missions, Kyle has said some of the greatest quotes I can remember. It's a shame that we didn't get to explore more with his character after the ending of the following DLC. I don't know whose idea it was to basically copy Crane's personality and voice just to paste it as Aiden in the sequel, but I'll get to that dumpster fire soon. Right now, I just want to admire how great this game is and how much fun it proves to be after all this. Excuse you? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way you heard me. Oh, that was fucking bullshit. I don't know how that guy heard me, and I died in like 3 fucking shots. So
I'm sorry.
I don't think I did. Nope. Oh my fucking. Oh my god.
Because it's ammo.
Okay, this is not good.
How's he still alive, bro?
Because the game is unfair. It just wants us to suffer.
Dude, how are you still alive?
Not fucking alive now. Jesus. That was bullshit. Yeah, it's that time again where I have to dissect the issues with this absolute gem. I don't have nearly as many hours as others might, but I have completed the storyline multiple times, enough to where I can remember everything, even the bad stuff. So I guess I'll start with the main story. I didn't care about Rise. He's the main villain who is portrayed as this dictator who rules with a fist of death. He's constantly shown in the cutscenes as a grade A psychopath by either insulting Crane or intimidating him by killing one of his own men. Rise is a fucking annoying asshole. Sorry to say. I'll admit the voice actor did a great job for the most part, but I didn't enjoy any segment that directly involved Rise. His annoying speeches drag on for way too long, and most of the time he's just insulting Crane to his face, picking on him like he's 5 years old. First of all, why the hell does Rise talk about Crane being nothing more than a lackey when he himself has hired goons that do all of his dirty work? Kind of hypocritical. I mean, I don't see Rise going outside and slicing up zombies. I don't think he kills a single zombie in the entire game now that I think about it. And the ending boss battle is such a joke. It's nothing more than a QTE. Press A, then B, then Y, then X again, then quickly tap A. You win. Congratulations. Couldn't they have made Rise like Tahir's boss battle? At least there you're face to face with him and physically fighting. Unfortunately, I don't have footage of it. But speaking of Tahir, he's another annoying character that contributes nothing. The entire time Kyle tries to bring Rise's power to the ground, Tahir is shown as an intimidating enemy that he will eventually have to face. Though he doesn't really say much, it's implied that he is Rise's right-hand man, or best friend. And guess what? Brian and I killed him in under 60 seconds, on nightmare difficulty. Are you kidding me? Sometimes the game throws cheap blows at the player in unforgiving ways. Every time you're fighting a group of zombies and doing good, suddenly a fucking pack of 6 virals show up to eat your ass. What the fuck? Where did they come from? I wasn't even being noisy in the slightest. There's also this weird fake hit thing that happens way too often, especially with Rise's thugs. I'll try my best to explain. Sometimes, even if you're point blank with an enemy and swing your weapon, they will play an animation as if they fucking dodged it, granting them a window to hit you. How in the holy mother of shit are you dodging and blocking this? I'm right in front of you, you fat piece of shit. You can grapple enemies to prevent them from hitting you, but it doesn't matter all the time because they'll still hit you first before being put in the grapple animation. It's very bizarre and confuses me immensely. It happens with virals too. The hit registration must have been wacky for them to pull off. Maybe they just wanted it to be a little tougher, but it still doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, if you were standing 2 feet in front of me and you went to slap me in the face, I don't necessarily think I'm gonna be able to dodge that. Lockpicking is a must if you want some of the best loot in the game, but some of the locks are ridiculously difficult to pull off. It's hard to get a good idea of where the sweet spot is in a locked container, and I've gone through more lockpicks than I have toothpicks in real life. Combat can be really frustrating, and in certain force segments, it doesn't get any easier. Somehow, Brian and I defeated the very first Demolisher you encounter in the story on Nightmare on our first try. That's not saying much. We both got knocked down multiple times and got very lucky with our distance. But once we completed it, we both felt very tired and overworked. What a pain in the fucking ass. Watch it, watch it.
Yeah!
Oh, yeah. Oh my god, that feels so good. Demolishers are annoying too. They're heavily armored zombies that stand as tall as the Incredible Hulk. The only way to hurt them is to wait until they charge after you and stun themselves against a wall. Then you strike, back away, rinse and repeat. They throw rocks like the tanks from Left 4 Dead, only here they're much less forgiving. The rocks will aim for your exact position every time, even if the Demolisher can't see you. It's bullshit. Does it have like a homing missile inside of it? The bombers tend to appear and surprise you at random, which should be intimidating to the player and keep their guard up. But ultimately, in the end, it just pisses me off further and further. I hate when I try to clear a safe house and a fucking bomber comes running at me from nowhere, giving me 0 time to react. I guess that's the point, but oh well, moving on. As I mentioned before, the gunplay is horrendous. You can aim down your sight, sure, but there's no peeking mechanic, so you'll often get hit with a barrage of bullets from an unknown area and die before you know what happened. It only takes a second for the AI to destroy you if they have guns. Meanwhile, I shoot these idiots with a shotgun at point blank and they're fine. That's not how guns work. The grappling hook will deceive you at times. Yeah, even the damn grappling hook is against you in this. I can't tell you how many times I've thrown it at a climbable surface just to fall all the way back down and die. Then other times it would work flawlessly, so who knows, maybe it's my fault. Many of you would agree that Dying Light has its fair share of corny moments. I think that every scene involving Jade, for example, was ridiculously boring and slow-paced. She's just another character who suffers from the lazy writing disease. They give her a generic, sad backstory and expect us to care about her by the time she dies. Sorry guys, but I don't give a single fuck about Jade. Or her brother Raheem, who's a major brat, acts childish, and constantly puts himself, along with others, in danger. It would have been cooler if they were given more effort and provided a convincing script to work with. Unfortunately for me, the only other person I cared about was Brecken, and he's only given a few cutscenes throughout the story. Kind of a shame considering the trailer starred Brecken and showed how he got injured on his run. The trailer was a masterpiece, and I even reviewed it in my top 5 video game trailers editorial. I'm also a tad bit disappointed that you don't ever play as Brecken. It's not a game killer for me by any means, but imagine if Crane had gotten knocked out for a bit, and the player was then put into Brecken's shoes, granting them the highest amount of parkour speed and strength he has to offer, being a parkour instructor and all. Oh man, one major duo that I cannot stand for the life of me are the twins, Tolga and Fatine. They're idiosyncratic. What does that mean? It means they're fucking idiots and they're awful to work for. You have to sit through their painfully boring conversations as they directly insult Crane to his face, demand that he does what they need, then insult him again when he does it. It's even worse when they radio you during the gameplay because they never shut up. You can't skip conversations on the radio. You know, it's bullshit that so many people treat Kyle like garbage. He's the only one going out of his way to help others, and everybody sends him on some wild fetch quest or an errand that they make up excuses to get out of themselves. There's a quest in this game where, I shit you not, you have to swim underwater to retrieve a bag of treasure for some guy. When you give him the bag, he says that it contained air, which he needs to survive. No treasure, no nothing, just oxygen. Great. There's also 0 stealth in this game. Even if you crouch behind an enemy, they will auto-aggro on you. It's as if Crane has a constant bullseye sticking out of his head that pokes the enemy's backs. It doesn't make any sense that they can notice me. If you approach an enemy from behind and have the proper skill, you can perform a takedown, but that gets bugged sometimes too. Really just depends on what kind of mood the game itself is in. Look at him! What a fucking dolt! Here, I'll help him. There you go. Oh, he's still oh god, oh no, oh my god, I couldn't even help him. I probably made it worse, if anything.
Oh hell yeah, dude, I leveled up, man.
So that's really everything negative I could think of in Dying Light, besides a few more story missions I forgot to mention. Rather than sit here and ramble all day, I'm gonna let you guys be the judges. If you haven't by this point, I highly recommend you play Dying Light and grind the fuck out of your character. It's so much fun hacking and slashing away at your enemies, and discovering more weapons to add to your collection is addicting. Creating contraptions to deal more damage, add bleeding, add electricity, or flame, a ton of options to choose from. Plus, as flawed as the story is, I still very much enjoyed it. It had lots of cinematic moments throughout that stood out to me when I first played. It's truly the greatest zombie game I have ever played, and that's a tough call for me to make. It's fun, it's hilarious with friends, it's challenging, and it's a great goddamn game. Just for the scares alone, I recommend you play on Nightmare difficulty. Thank you guys for watching. Next time, I'm going to be talking about Dying Light 2 and paying genuine attention to all of the things I'd like to highlight. Forgive me if it takes a little time to come, as I have other things planned for in between. I hope you all enjoyed, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
You are a monkey, Crane. A lackey. Someone else's puppet. You suck.